Hey everybody, welcome to Garage Doing TV. Today we're going to be working on the Nissan a little bit. So in my last episode about the Lexus, I told you that I picked up a Nissan 240sx, 1995. Some of you might call it a Zenki Sylvia S14. Great car, needs a lot of love, like most 240s do. I'm going to work on it here in a bit, but I just kind of wanted to give you a walk around here and tell you what I'm going to fix first before I get to it. So, I showed you last time. It's kind of this purple gray pearl color. It's a really cool color. It's going to look great once I fix it up a little bit. The inside here, one of the doors unlocks. One doesn't. There we go. Okay. So the inside actually looks pretty good. I mean, if you think about most 240s, they're usually beat or stripped or what have you. This one's okay. Smells of smoke, but that's alright. It's an easy fix. Just shy of 220 on the clock. I had to put a brand new battery in it because that was toast when I got it, but that's okay. Doesn't really want to run all that well. I'm guessing it could probably use a couple tweaks to timing or new plugs or a tune-up in general, which we're going to give it, but it does run. It doesn't make any horrible noises. The first time I ran it, I heard what I was pretty sure was the timing chain tensioner slack. But it's been kind of off and on since, so that is most likely what it is. But not a huge issue. I'll show you around under the hood a second. Almost spiked my camera on the ground. So, I mean, pretty well bone stock except for the aftermarket cruise control. It was added by the owner before last, which is a pod filter. I don't know when that was last cleaned or changed, but we can deal with that. You hear a little bit of valve noise right now, but no slack, which is good. I figured I'd just let it warm up for a second. One of the issues that I'm seeing... Hold on here, I'm sorry. One of the issues that I saw when I test drove it was that the e-brake was pretty much locked on. So after about a block, the rear brake started smoking, which is no good. And if you look inside, I can't even pull it like a little bit. So what I'd like to do right now is just let it warm up for a bit, because it just hasn't ran in a couple years all that much. And then I'm going to try and loosen the e-brake from inside here to see if that'll loosen the brakes in the back. If it does, great. If not, my plan here is to rebuild them anyways. I got brand new calipers, well, remanufactured calipers, front and rear, new brake pads, new brake rotors, and stainless steel brake lights. So that's going to happen tonight. But I just figured if I can get it running right now and take it on the block a couple times, it'd be kind of fun. So stick around. So if you drift a 240, you probably know how to do this already. But tightening or loosening, usually tightening your e-brake, is a pretty common thing to do. The way you do it is you yank the handle up until you can access this little hole right here. And then you're going to stick a 10mm socket in there and just there we go. Just down a little bit, you'll see it, and then just down a little bit, you will touch the locking bolt or lock nut that you use to loosen and tighten the cable. So just loosen or tighten that accordingly. It will loosen or tighten the e-brake cable. So now I can at least, there's a little bit of play there. Still feels pretty tight. I'm going to tighten it up to get rid of the play, and then we'll see if it wants to play nice or not. Still a bit of play. They also really feel super tight after it grips, so I'm going to go ahead and take it on the block, see if that helps. If it doesn't, then it's probably an issue with the rear brake calipers or pads or rotors. Everything could be super warped. I have no idea. But the next thing I'm going to show you is how to replace your brakes, your pads, rotors, and calipers, and brake lines. Okay, before I get to the driveway, I just kind of plop back down into the driver's seat, and I want to show you something. We'll see if you can see it. I'm not a very big guy. I'm like 5'9", 5'10", with tall shoes on, and I weigh about $160, which I understand a little overweight for my height, but but look at this. The rear suspension has to be just bouncing by at 2 inches. It's awesome. All right, let's go around the block here. I'm going to turn it off because I have no good way to mount it. Well, let me try this. Hold on. It's going to stay. Maybe. Sure, we'll give that a try. It's probably going to suck, but okay. We won't go too far because I don't have the new plates on it. Okay. Hearing a lot of angry noises from the back. Yeah, we're not going to go around the block because this feels awful. You know, with how saggy and floppy the back is, it sounds like brakes rubbing, but maybe the wheel or tires rubbing on something too. I don't know. It dived so hard when you hit the brakes. Alright. I just wanted to try that a second, see what happened. I'm going to give it a little bit to finish up some things inside, then I'll come back out and we'll start ripping the wheels and brakes off. Alright, so let me show you all the goodies we got to fix the brakes with. And we'll go from left to right. So I've got a new set of 4-lug slotted and drilled rear brake rotors, a set of slotted and drilled Q45 front brake rotors, pads for front and rear, brand new, remanufactured rear calipers, remanufactured Q45 front calipers, and then StopTech stainless steel brake lines, front and rear. I also picked up some oil, spark plugs, oil filter, so we can give it a basic tune-up. So let's go ahead and get that on the car. So the first thing we're going to want to do is jack up the car and put it on jack stands. When I jack up the rear, I like to do it on the diff sometimes. We'll use this wood kind of as front wheel chocks. Check out my sick wheel gap, yo. Okay, don't ever buy this big red jack, by the way. It's just horrifying. When you lower the car down, it doesn't happen gradually. It either comes all at once and tries to murder you, or it doesn't move at all. So whenever I lower it, it's an extremely delicate and horrifyingly dangerous process. Okay, I'm going to check to see where it sits right now with the jack stands before it comes down any further. Nice on that side. I think we're okay. We are sitting on the jack stands. Sorry, we're sitting on the jack stands. I'm going to leave the actual jack under it for extra support, and we'll go ahead and get started. Now, I don't think this little guy's going to work, but if it doesn't, I'll use the big boy. We gotta give it a try though. I'm going to use a 21 mil to get the rear wheel lugs off. Nope, it's the big boy. Started up a scholarship for kids that are walking in our shoes. Figure we should give back. Let's take a look a second here. So, when metal rusts, it expands twice its original thickness. What we have here is rusted rotors. Front and back side looks like. The calipers are okay. I mean, they're not terrible, but they are rusted. The brake pads themselves are gone. This is just the metal. So we're metal on metal back here. Pretty much everywhere, which sucks. So, let's take the calipers off, providing they're not rusted on terribly, and get the swapping crap off. Just a tip for you guys, when you take your lug nuts off your wheels, just put them right there in your wheel. It makes it harder to lose them. You'll still lose them after all the time, but it helps. Now, normally I just take the whole caliper off, but I think it'll be easier if we take the, well, I take the whole caliper assembly off, what I should say. But I think in this case it'll be easier if we take just the caliper itself off. The assembly is the mount, the caliper's part that does all the work. Okay, the caliper bolts here are 14 mil, and you should never hammer your ratchet. Terrible idea. Okay, got them loosened up. We'll take them off the rest of the back. Okay, and just as I thought, that's pretty well jammed on there. Okay, so normally I would say don't do that, but because we're replacing like everything down here, it's not a huge deal. Look at all this rust we came off. It's just everything down here is caked in it. The pads are pretty well welded to the disc here. Okay, this is the pad on the back. There's not a whole lot of anything left to it. I'm pretty sure it's just bare metal. I'm gonna get a screwdriver a second. And that one is also just bare metal. Alright, so now that we have the caliper off, I'm just kind of sitting off to the side, let's get the caliper mount off. The caliper was a 14, caliper mount is bigger, probably a 7. So that is a 17 millimeter. While I do this, or before I finish this, I'm going to go to the other side, take off that wheel, and hit everything over there with PB Blast. Ghetto blaster over my shoulder. Google that, y'all make me feel older. I remember looking at on your stroller when your mom couldn't look no colder. Not a soldier anymore than you're a student. There we go. The bracket assembly, caliper assembly, the clips, pads, and the rotor should come off. Now, with rear calipers, you will oftentimes have a hook. You'll have a hook here, right here, that operates your emergency brake. And the emergency brake is actually mechanical, and it just pushes out in the piston. The cable you tighten inside tightens, I don't actually think it's this cable right here, I believe it tightens the cable that pulls on both of these cables, but still, it's manually operated. So to get this off of here, you have to take this clip off in back, right there. This cable will slide off, and then all you have to do is take off the brake line.
Riding like we had nowhere to go. When I got here, I knew that this is where I'm supposed to be. Last night did a show and had a damn good time. Did some drinking, I was feeling fine, not drunk, just key. Was real happy to see you.
Okay, now this cable should slide out of there. Actually, looks like it should go forward this way and slide out. So we'll try and tap it forward here a bit. Okay, so once you get that cable off, it slides off this bottom hook pretty easily. We'll just take this guy off, look at 12.
Let's just go there on cruise control. If we ride and we float, if we drive, where do we go? Does it really even matter where we go?
Okay, so the hard line moves freely up and down now, so I can pretty much safely say that I've got it unscrewed. So now I'm going to try and undo this clip right here that I've kind of pried free a little bit. Now I'm just going to try and pull it out. Okay, got our brake lines, and these do come with new banjos. So that's nice. So this works to replace the old one, pretty much one for one. There's no right or left. Yeah, no right or left. Much like the one, the top slides up through that little hole. Sorry, the top slides up through the hole, and the clip goes around here to actually lock it in place. It's got a place for a wrench in the bottom, so you can hold that while you're screwing the top, or screwing the bottom and hold it back. I'm up early in the morning, right, and look into the room where I can see where you're supposed to be. Just in case you can't see it well, I'm just screwing this guy back into the top of the brake line. I put the clip in first so this guy stays in place, and there's a notch here from the factory that actually keeps this nut from rotating. Never enough. You call and want to ride, I come and pick you up. Really even matter where we go. Now here is our beautiful new brake caliper. You can tell it's on this side because the e-brake draws in the bottom, and it is stamped with an R for the right side of the car, looking at it from the back. It also came with new clips. Oh, very nice. And a new banjo. That's wonderful. Where we go, let's just go there on cruise control. If we ride and we float, if we drive, where do we go? Does it really even matter where we go? Let's just go there. No longer spewing brake fluid, which is good. Got a pad, we got a rotor. I'm not going to put the wheel back on yet because we have to bleed the brakes, which I will need my wife's assistance for. And I'm not sure how we're going to do that, but we'll figure something out. I still also have to put the stupid clip back in. How this live crew do, and since we got another, let's get up and let's take flight. Last night I got drunk, but this morning I was writing. Before we get too far in, this one doesn't look quite as bad. I mean, it's worn, but it's not metal on metal, and I still see some pad left on the actual pad. So let's go. Riding everywhere next summer, Felix the Psycho. When the door opens up, you're supposed to walk through. I'ma twist the handle, mash it like I had nothing to do. This year, like every other, trying to up the game. I know that everybody out there says they're doing the same. While you look and you learn, pay attention to detail. Have a lot of fun doing this, and hard work prevails. That's that. I definitely way over torqued the other side, so I'm a little concerned about that. There's not much I can do about it now. So, I'm an idiot, I have to deal with it. We'll see if it's terrible and doesn't work, or if we're okay. But either way, I have to go enlist the help of my wife now to bleed the rear brakes. And once they're bled, we can probably go around the block finally. Okay, well, it's nighttime now. I'm going to go ahead and bleed the brakes, because I still want to try and get this thing around the block tonight. That's my goal. So, to bleed the brakes, we need our 10 mil box end wrench. And what you do is there's a, I don't know if you can see all that well, a small nipple back here that you loosen up. Normally you'll have somebody pressing the brakes, then you loosen it, tighten it, and then they release the brakes. And that pushes air bubbles through, pushes old brake fluid through. I got one of these goofy self-bleeding kits. I haven't had much luck with them in the past, but I'm going to give it a try. That way I don't have to haul my wife and my kid out here to help me. We'll see how it goes.
Ears burning this summer like corn on the grill. All these new cats coming looking for a cheap thrill or a cheap shot, but we got that heavy.
Okay, I didn't really show it, but I had my wife come out and help me bleed the brakes. The self-bleedy thing, it never really works right for me. So she helped out. They're feeling pretty firm now, so that's good. I'm going to go ahead and get the tires back on, and we'll take it on the block and see how it feels.
I push it up, not back. That brake is for emergency. My hand is off that. My mind is on next year. My head is in the music. My eye is on the...
Alright, well, I lived. The car lived. It made her on the block. It drove, is a better way to put it. It drove about 1,000 times better because the rear brakes weren't dragging. I think the plastic shroud that goes under the engine is dragging on the ground, a lot of dragging. And then I heard a lot of interesting noises coming from the front end. So when we do the front brakes tomorrow, we'll check the front suspension. My guess is that it's just as bad as the back. But again, that's all stuff we can fix. So the car runs and drives now. It's exciting. Stick around for the next episode where we do the front. Thanks, guys.